So yeah, hopefully for Mavericks fans, you can look back on this video a year from now and say I got everything wrong. But I don't like this hire. I don't think Jason Kidd has proven to be a good coach kind of at all. I mean, we remember his defense with the Bucks that one season, which was just attack the ball at all instances, double pick and rolls, close out to guys like madmen, and just force teams to keep passing the thing. And it actually worked for one season, and then it stopped working because everybody figured it out. And then instead of making adjustments, Jason Kidd just said the players need to play harder. He also froze Jabari Parker from shooting threes. He also told Thon Maker to never shoot threes. It's understandable if you don't want him taking him right away if he's bad, but to never attempt them, To me, the only thing Jason Kidd ever did was play Sean Livingston and put the ball in Giannis's hands. He did also beat the Raptors in round one that one season, so we'll give him credit there. And this is a Dallas team, of course, that has been great offensively for the last couple years, and Jason Kidd's offenses were always kind of blah. I mean, the spacing wouldn't be the best, and you just have guys standing in weird spots. Like something basic like just put shooters in the corner wasn't always a guarantee with Jason Kidd's offenses, let alone cuts or down screens or anything like that. So when I think about this Dallas offense under Kidd, I feel like we could lose some things that were a given under Carlisle. For one, someone not standing in Luka's way. I mean, I'd like to believe anyone could just be like, all right, somebody set a screen for Luka, space the floor out, and we'll let him do his thing. And yeah, I mean, Dallas could still win a bunch of games because Luka's that good, and we'll see what else they do this offseason. But as of right now, I'm just not anticipating Jason Kidd actually making anything better. And sure, that was Dallas's bread and butter, but that wasn't all they did. I mean, the second units would have a little bit more motion to them, with Jalen Brunson running the show a bit more. And you would still have some dynamic stuff where it's like Luka, instead of doing the normal thing, he'll like throw it to somebody real quick in a possession, and then he'll start running to the basket, and then you can get action off of that. And I just want to ask, are we sure all of that is going to happen under Jason Kidd? Because Bucks fans would tell you, no, we're not going to see that. But look, he has been an assistant for a little bit with the Lakers, so maybe something clicked with him, I don't know. It will be interesting to see how Jason Kidd views Porzingis. Is he going to be all, get Porzingis in the post, we're going to figure this out? Is he going to tell Porzingis to shoot 12 threes a game or something? Is he going to have Porzingis playing a lot of center with 4 perimeter guys? Carlisle was not about that, as we know. And I think it's fair to question if Porzingis can really handle playing a lot of minutes at center. And as far as the defense is concerned, well, again, if Jason Kidd's whole thing is going to be, hey guys, just play hard and that'll fix it on defense, I don't know if that's going to go well. I mean, you look at this last season, the Mavs were 21st in defensive rating, but the difference between them at 21 and the Raptors at 15 was like a couple decimal points. So they were basically a mid-tier defense, which I think is pretty good given the roster. And as far as Jason Kidd's game plan, I mean, will he do a 180 and play a safer defense that incentivizes teams to take mid-range jumpers and closes out the rim and hopefully you get a good closeout, which is how most teams play defense now? Or is it going to be the super aggressive, send multiple guys to the ball and literally try to stop everything defense, which, again, teams figured out after one season. To think about the Mavs roster defensively, I mean, maybe Josh Green will get more minutes this year. I mean, that was his thing coming into the NBA, that he could be a 3-and-D wing. Maybe Richardson can be better. You still have Finney Smith, you still have Kleba. There's the potential of Porzingis moving around better defensively. And if they're going to bring back Hardaway, then I think their only hope for adding talent would be a mid-level exception. If they let Hardaway walk, then they do get kind of interesting in free agency. We'll have to see. But if they were going to look for some mid-level defensive player to help him out, there's Josh Hart, Nicholas Batum, who's been really good defensively for the Clippers in these playoffs. Rashawn Holmes, although I imagine the Kings would like to hold on to him. The craziest one would be Oladipo if his market would fall that hard and you just want to roll the dice on him. So we'll see. Dallas has some things to do. As far as this new GM, the Nico Harrison guy, so he worked for Nike, and now he's working for the NBA. And I know he has connections to the NBA, but this is still his first time working in the NBA. I don't know, call me crazy, but I think there's at least some room for like, wait a minute, what's going on? Similar to how I felt about the Celtics putting Stevens in charge of the front office. And as far as the whole thing about Bob Voulgaris, apparently being the reason why the Mavs' whole thing was just set on fire, why was Cuban listening so much to a guy who got rich off of betting that Kobe and Shaq would beat everybody in the 2001 playoffs? I mean, I understand that the guy did a lot with data and analytics, and he had a whole operation going and stuff, but to be the guy who's running front offices and like making draft picks and all that, like what the hell are we doing here? Also, and I know I said this in some previous video, but anyone who followed Bob for 2 minutes on Twitter knew that that guy would be difficult to work with. I mean, have you ever listened to him on Bill Simmons' podcast? Like, yeah, the guy's smart, but imagine talking to that guy day in and day out. Good Lord. I would just quit. Which, of course, Carlisle did. So, yeah, man, overall, I just gotta be honest, I'm not a fan of kinda anything Dallas has done this offseason so far. But all that being said, if Luka's happy and if he'll sign the max, which he's going to do, I don't think this is as urgent as the Zion situation might be, then at the end of it all, it's not the worst thing in the world. Like, yeah, they've got decisions to make with the roster. They're still out a couple draft picks for a guy in Porzingis who has not been worth that trade so far. And of course, the health is always a thing with him. But if Luka's there, and the talent around him is at least halfway decent, and they keep their cap space open for some potential offseason, then they could be alright. As far as them making some sort of a move besides seeing if someone will take Porzingis or if the best thing for them is just getting Porzingis healthy and all that, I mean, they do have tradable contracts, mainly the Richardson, Dwight Powell, Kleba trio, and maybe throwing in Josh Green and Tyrell Terry if you don't want to give up picks. Because it's, of course, kind of difficult for them to trade draft picks. They'd have to go out into 2026, I believe. And maybe you could get something with all that. I mean, that's a lot of money between Richardson, Powell, and Kleba, and it's all short contracts. That said, Powell and Kleba do help them out, so there's always that. You could also throw like Willie Cauley-Stein and Finney Smith in there as well. Finney Smith, another guy who helps them out. So yeah, not a huge fan of what Dallas is doing right now. Of course, I can be wrong for Dallas's sake. Yeah, that would be nice. And at the end of it all, they still have Luka.